my opinion. Listen to what Mr. Lime said about anyone who voted for President Trump.
If you voted for Trump, you voted for the person who the Klan supported. You voted for the person who Nazis support. You voted for the person who the alt-right supports. That's the crowd that you are in. You voted for the person who incited a crowd to go into the Capitol and potentially take the lives of lawmakers, took the lives of police officers, took the lives of innocent lives who were there on the Capitol that day. You voted on that side.
2016, a study was conducted. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, the KKK only has 3,000 members. That's right. 3,000 people out of 340 million. The KKK is all but dead, and rightly so. It belongs on the ash heap of history. But if Don Limon and CNN want to lump every Trump voter into the KKK category, we can play that dishonesty game too. Let's adopt Mr. Lime's standards and CNN standards. Don Lime says 75 million Americans were wrong for supporting the candidate who was supported by 3,000 or so who make up the current existence of the KKK. Now, who did Don Lime and the rest of the socialist Democrats vote for? They supported a man, Joe Biden, who supports, for example, slaughtering children in the womb. They voted for a man who has been credibly accused of sexual assault and who has been photographed inappropriately touching women and children on myriad occasions. Mr. Lime voted for a man who was supported by the inhuman communist regime of China. That regime is responsible for the loss of freedom for millions in Hong Kong. China is responsible for the deaths of nearly 400,000 Americans through a pandemic that was caused by Beijing intentionally. China is guilty of forced abortions and the enslavement of 3 million Uyghur Muslims. So, using Mr. Lime's standards, because China, an inhuman regime, supports Biden, and China is partaking in human slavery, then Don and CNN should never have been supporting Mr. Biden. For the record, I think every American should judge candidates by how their policies and track record correspond to each American's set of values. And I certainly don't think violence is ever justified in the advancement of one's political agenda. Now let's get to your top stories. The FBI now casting doubt on the left's argument that the president caused the Capitol riot. Turns out the timeline isn't matching up. Iran, in the meantime, is thumbing its nose at the incoming Biden administration by amping up its nuclear game. And speaking of Biden, he hasn't even taken office, but it's clear conservatives have everything to lose and nothing to gain under socialist rule. Joining me now with his take on what Mr. Lime just said and his ilk, former California congressional candidate and U.S. Navy veteran Joe Collins. Mr. Collins, welcome back to the Chris Salcedo Show. You know, you heard it for yourself. What do you make of what Mr. Lime had to say, and why isn't anybody in the left-wing media calling him out? He appeared to be justifying violence that happened from BLM and Antifa over half of 2020.
Yeah, Chris, thank you for having me on your show. Let me be real for a second. Don Lemon is a joke. He is a dumbass, just like Cuomo. Cuomo and his brother, the governor of New York, are both jokes. They're a disgrace to America. And so is his show. The Communist News Network, having him on the show is the reason why a lot of people in our communities are confused about what's going on. So when I hear this man say that people who support president, if you are black, are supporting the Nazis that died out with Hitler back in Germany, and you support the KKK, who I saw the Grand Wizard supporting Hillary Clinton, and you group us with these people, you know, I feel disturbed about that. And so I have a message to Don Lemon. You need to watch your mouth. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran from South Central Los Angeles, and that type of language is something that we are not going to tolerate. This is America, and I fought for people to have the right to like and agree with whatever they want to, regardless if they like the president of the United States or don't like the president of the United States, regardless if they voted for Joe Biden or regardless if people voted for President Trump. This is America, and you cannot group people based on your own opinion, because I've tried to pay bills with opinion, and let me tell you this, you cannot do it. So he needs to shut his mouth.
Understood. Now, as you mentioned, you've defended this country. You put on the uniform of this country. I don't think you put on that uniform to watch our freedom of speech be under a relentless assault. As we pointed out in the preamble, you had on the justification that President Trump allegedly inspired violence, and I don't think that's at all been proven yet. But that's why his social media accounts have been suspended. Why it seems those who are in the left wing or in control of big five tech companies have led this all-out assault on the freedom of speech here in the United States. But yet Mr. Lemon appears to be justifying violence that happened at the hands of BLM and Antifa, and his social media platform is untouched. Do you think that's fair, sir?
No, it's not fair at all. I mean, you look at these big tech companies. Yes, they are private companies, and they can choose who gets to be on their platform and who gets deplatformed. But I mean, when you look at statements from other Democrats, including John Lemon, including Maxine Waters, who we had a lot of run-ins with, Nancy Pelosi, it's absolutely hypocritical for big tech to censor our president, who is exercising his free speech on platforms that fancy themselves as free speech giants. When you hear their rhetoric, you hear Hollywood. They have pictures of people with Donald Trump's head cut off with blood. You have people saying that they want to punch him in the mouth. You have Nancy Pelosi and all these other idiots talking about they want to have uprising in our streets. And these are things that have been going on for a very long time. So no, it's not fair. And I'm actually thinking about launching my own social media platform where we're not going to ban free speech.
Amen to that. Amen to that. A Navy veteran launching a social media platform that doesn't ban free speech, or maybe we could call it a pro-American social media platform. Sir, thank you very much. Mr. Collins, we'll talk to you again.